They probably have like 7 hours of footage. It's like, yeah, there was a lot of laughing and then apologizing.
This movie seems like so much fun. This cast just has such amazing chemistry. I know there's a lot of improvising on set and all that. What do you think would make the blooper reel? Is there something that you remember that you hope makes it in that cut?
There was one day where Griffin and I have a bunk bed scene. It was one of our only scenes, just one-on-one. It was our only day, and the whole day all we had was this particular scene. And we were given the permission to improv a bunch of different versions. And I think we both ended in tears many times from laughing so hard because we thought we were funny. And I'm not sure if it was actually funny, but no, at the time, we understand each other's humor. Yeah. So you can watch probably an hour blooper reel back there. I mean, they probably have like 7 hours of footage. It's like, yeah, there was a lot of laughing and then apologizing to the director and everyone.
Yeah, to everyone being like, I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly, Angela and Steve will have the best bloopers ever because their improvs are probably some of the best improvs I've ever seen, and we're all just dying on set all the time.
I think the most blooper reel you're gonna get from me is reacting to Angela and Steve's improv.
No, wait, 28. Oh. Dr. Seeger.
You invited my pediatrician?
You probably saw me on the talk.
You're on TikTok?
You don't follow me?
There's moments where I just can't keep it together. And I'm like trying to hold it. I'm like physically shaking underneath, trying to hold back laughter. So yeah.
Listen, I went off. I did a lot of different takes for when I say I'm very fertile. When Richie says, let's have another baby, I said all kinds of stuff. I think I'm very fertile is what made it for the PG. But we had a lot of fun in that moment. So I know that there's a bunch of bloopers from that family dinner scene.
What? I gotta text Dunk.
You text my boyfriend?
7-8 times a day, max.
That's weird.
That's strange.
But if there's a blooper of myself, I feel like I'm just always dancing on set. So that might be an interesting thing to see.
Just a whole dance montage.
It's a full dance montage for sure.
I'm thinking of this moment that I feel like should have been on camera on set, but it was actually during the rehearsal time that I had spent with Ava, and I had to do all these stretches, and I had to, I guess, get to learn my body in a way that I hadn't before. And I go ahead and I kick my leg up, and I just fall so hard that you just had to be there for it, because it was one of those things where you just saw how passionate I was to go ahead and do this dance, and it just didn't go my way, but it just made me realize how hard this actually was, and I gave her a lot of credit for being a tremendous dancer. So I felt like that should have been a good blooper.
This movie has such a great message, and I know, we never really do get that voice out of our heads, but as you progress and you do more, it goes away. But as you take on some of these roles that you've done, or even auditions or jobs, what is something that challenged you the most that you kind of had to overcome a fear?
Yeah, I think honestly, one of the biggest challenges that I had to face in this industry was filming the first film. I mean, I was 16 and it was my first acting job ever, and coming into something that was a big production, being the lead and having a cast that's so talented was very nerve-wracking. And I tried to just remind myself of the love that I have for it and my work ethic, and lean on those who love me and support me, and also just lean on their expertise and learn from them, and really just watch them and try to absorb as much as I could. But it was a scary time. As amazing as it was very nerve-wracking.
For me, I mean, The First Tall Girl was also my first film. I had done some guest stars on some shows before, but it was right before I went to go shoot the series that I'm on now. So I felt very similar to Ava, it was our first experience of doing a film together, and that was very nerve-wracking. And also I think I had auditioned a lot before that, and so we're talking about overcoming fear and things like that, keeping my confidence going through all the no's of all the auditions that I had to get to Frida, which was so well worth it. And what's for you is truly for you, and I'm so grateful that that this was for me, because it is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I loved the most about this project was how much my journey did mirror Jodie's. Like in the film, she becomes a lead in a musical. And Tall Girl 2 was my first big studio film. I've only directed 2 little indies before this. So I was so nervous coming into this project. Like my imposter syndrome was at like a level 11 because I was so afraid all the cast and crew who actually have so much more experience than me will think that I didn't know what I was doing or sort of not respect my notes. But again, none of that happened. And it was all just sort of noise that I created in my own head because everyone was like super professional and super welcoming and super collaborative. And I feel like now that I've gone through this process, I've gained so much more confidence in myself because I know that I could do it. That the fact that this was, you know, a big budget studio film, doesn't really change anything. Storytelling is still storytelling. That all this like fear that I created in my own head is just that. It's just noise. So yeah, now that I've gone through this, I feel so much more confident in my storytelling abilities and just knowing that I could do this again.
You know, I feel like every job brings its own sort of like challenges, but also the, you know, fears in a way. Like with each job, you have that moment where you just desperately want to do a good job and to crush it. So I feel like with every new role I get or every new thing I try, there's that moment of like, oh crap, can I do this? Can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. And you have to take a minute and be like, yeah, I can do this. I got it. And I don't think that ever goes away. I think, you know, there's obviously, as you get older, you get more comfortable in your own skin and you have more confidence, I think. But you still have moments where you're like, oh no, can I do this? I mean, Jenna and I started this Office Rewatch podcast, Jenna Fisher and I, and the first time we went in to record, we were like, oh crap, we don't know how to do this. You know, and we just had to take a minute and be like, we're going to be okay. We're going to get through it. We got this. And I think that is one of the messages in Tall Girl 2 I really loved, which is there's going to be moments in your life where you're scared you're going to fail. You can be your own worst enemy because you're tearing yourself apart, and you're just going to have to take a minute, take a breath, know that you're enough, just as you are, you're enough, and that you're going to get through it and you're going to get to the other side.
Dad, who is this person?
Sting's sister!
His sister.
Oh no. You rented more Swedes?